Yeah, we here in Tanzania once again, a beautiful area. Um, yeah, I got this Brit with me, friend of mine. We met last year. Yeah, we're gonna sit down with her and ask a couple of questions and see how she feels about Tanzania. Um, Let me give y'all a little look of where we are. Y'all can see it. Seems good enough right there. So let's get to this. Hold on. Now, for the viewers out there, I'm Donzel. And your name is?
Audrey.
Say that again.
Audrey.
Audrey. Okay, Audrey. Where are you from?
I'm from the UK. I was born and raised in the UK.
Born and raised in the UK. So you've been in the UK for all your life, pretty much.
Pretty much, bar a few years spent living in Spain and the time spent living here on and off.
Okay, cool. Let me ask you this. What is it like to be British in Tanzania, in Africa?
That's an interesting question because you have the two sides, isn't it? I'm British, but I'm not English. So I have the British accent, but I'm not that English Rose that everyone assumes and associates with the UK. So I am Black British, I'm not English, I'm not white. And so my experiences of being over here in Africa are different, I think, than if I was someone who was white British. And they don't call people white British, they're English.
No.
White, that's it.
Mzungu.
So,
Yeah.
but then I get called Mzungu here too.
Yeah. Wow.
So
wow.
It's a weird.
Dichotomy.
Definitely, because I think when I came here, I assumed that I was going to be embraced as a sister, returning back to the motherland, and I'd be treated really well. But actually, I'm treated like somebody who's foreign, because unless I speak Swahili fluently with an accent, or even if I didn't have an accent, I could have been a Tanzanian who's born abroad.
Yeah.
But the treatment is different. So I still get ripped off. I still get, that whole sort of Muzungu kind of foreigner treatment where you have the foreigner prices.
Like Americans, like me being American, I get the same. I got that same treatment.
Yeah.
As soon as they hear that accent, as soon as they hear the voice, and yeah, you get the different price where something may cost 1,000, they go 3, 4, 5,000 on you because they assume you got money.
Yeah, and but my accent, I sometimes feel helps me out in terms of police situations. I think that definitely helps because I'm always asked where am I from. I think they're almost looking out for Americans. I think you guys have got a bit of a rap. And as soon as I say I'm from the UK, I feel like the demeanour changes slightly.
Yeah.
And people are generally quite interested that I'm from the UK, and definitely it's a plus side for teaching English at school because I feel that the parents are very excited that I am from Britain. I have that classic British accent.
Yeah, that helps. Americans, y'all hear that? We're not liked around the world, as we've been led to believe. We're not so liked. I've been here. A lot of people know what we've done around the world. It's not hidden no more. And I met her a year ago, and we met at a bar.
It's almost 2 years ago.
Well, almost 2 years ago, and we met at a bar in a local place that I was staying, and when I saw her, I knew she wasn't Tanzanian, and I assumed when she saw me, from what she's told me, she didn't know that she knew I wasn't Tanzanian.
Definitely. Without a shadow of a doubt.
And
From the clothes and the way your stature was and how you carried yourself.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was a little different. And when we actually had an interaction, I thought, when she tapped me and asked me, "Excuse me, can I talk to you for a little bit?" And it threw me off because I wasn't expecting her to be British. But I will say this. The stereotypes of Britain being soft and easygoing, I think it kind of helps them here in Tanzania because they don't like to raise their voice. And Americans, we tend to be brash and boisterous. We tend to be loud and demanding and entitled. And I'm not talking about myself. I'm humble. I try to stay humble.
Really?
I try to stay humble. But tell me an instance where even being British, it really didn't matter.
Where it didn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I've been a little bit distracted right now. An instant where it didn't matter?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to the police station so many times. Like,
Hold on, excuse me again. You gotta say that where we can hear it. You been where?
to the police station many times.
Oh, the British gangsters. They got gangsters. I haven't been to the police station. Tell me about that.
No, we'll get to that. Let's not jump. Let's not jump ahead of ourselves. But like, there's so many different things. Being a woman in Tanzania is, I don't know, I'm not a Tanzanian woman, but being a British woman, a foreigner woman, there's, you definitely get treated differently. There's, it's like a masculine society,
Very masculine.
What about the incident where my car was crashed into? So I was driving back late at night and I was pretty tired. I was distracted. I was leaving a voice note. And I don't think I told you that bit, but but this car decides to come up behind me, right? And the lights are on, and they like to put on full beam. And he was weaving behind like this. And I'm like, where is he going? I can't see my turning. And so I'm slowed down. He's weaving, and I'm thinking, okay, pass me. And he doesn't pass me. So then I go to turn, and then he crashes into me. And all I want to do is just go home and sleep. I know that I have to get up and prepare some lessons, so I just want to go, and I'm just like, can we just leave this? Can we just leave this? Police just there, like a whole wagon of them, like a truck full of them. They're like about 5 of them on top of this truck. I'm like, how the hell did you get here? We're like, no one called you, so you're just there, like out of nowhere. And they're like, no, you have to go to police station. You have to go to police station. I was like, no. What do you want to do if you dispute it? Blah, 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 just all on me. And the guy is just like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how is this happening? It's just a nightmare. Please let me just go home and sleep. And they're like, no, you have to go to the police station. So I phoned on them and pick him up on the way. That wasn't expected.
No,
And
they weren't expecting to pick up in America because they know we don't. Yeah, that's why it's good to have an American friend. Cause they know when we show up, we're not bullshitting. We don't. No, we don't bullshit.
So we get there now, and everyone's demeanor changes, and it went from the man now, the one who's at fault. I think they said something in Swahili, like, because I kept on saying, speak English. You all speak English, so stop switching into Swahili. They don't. no one listens to that. And that's my experience at the police stations as well. It's like everyone can speak English, but they'll switch to Swahili to exclude you.
Out of
And
the
then,
conversation.
you know,
Yeah.
how can you can't deal with that?
Yeah.
Or if you raise your voice, it's like shh, 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 don't do that, don't do that. Like what? And I think I'm just too old now for this rubbish. So I'm like, I have to call it out. But anyway, we were at the police station for the car crash thing. Something was said in Swahili. Donza thinks it was, well, you're at fault because you were behind and you crashed into her, whatnot. And I wasn't even thinking about money. I just wanted I just wanted to leave. And the guy was like, oh, I told her I didn't want to take this any further. I'm like, no, you never. No, you never. That's not true.
Yeah,
oh, I told her that I wanted to go. No, you never. Otherwise, why would we have come? We had to follow him to the police station.
Yeah, he was an Indian Tanzanian, and that's a whole nother topic. The Indians over here, like in America, they own a lot of things. They own a lot of businesses. Their culture over here is thick, just like, and I guess that brings me to my point. Would you consider moving here and making a life here?
I think my presence here kind of says that. I've been here on and off for 2 years.
Yeah.
And most people might think I'm crazy because I've had a lot of different instances.
It's been difficult.
Yeah, it has been. It's been really difficult. And one white German had said to me one time, she was asking me what my experience was like here, and I told her like a snippet. And she said, yeah, I kind of guessed that's how it would be for you because you're not white. And she could see that as a white person, she has more privilege out here, which is something I was not expecting. So I wasn't expecting an area called Masaki that we are currently in.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting like wealth. Like I knew there would be wealth in Africa, but I wasn't expecting to find it in Dar. Like I didn't come to Africa to stay in a wealthy area and have all of those isms and schisms and classist, divides and all that. I actually just wanted to come for a simple life and build a sustainable life and just get rid of all the stuff that you carry, material objects and stuff. But she could see that she gets treated better than I would, and we're both foreigners, but being a white foreigner, you get treated much better. And I've witnessed that in restaurants. Someone can come after you, etc. But depending on my mood, most times I'm going to call that out. That's just not on, Yeah, I'll call stuff out. I'll call stuff out even if it's to do with a Tanzanian person. Like some woman one time was bouncing into me and I asked her 3 times, more or less, to stop, like, give me some space. She wasn't listening, so we had an argument about it. And then the guy was trying to pull her in front of me to get a ticket. And I said, no, that's not happening on my watch. She's the one in the wrong. In the end, they ended up apologising to me. But, I don't think I'm argumentative normally. I just think that I try and hold my own now. But this whole sort of British experience, or the experience that I thought I was going to get in Africa, is changed, or it's been tainted, but I still love it here. And I still love the people and the place. And I still want to build my life there.
That was a lot. That was a lot. Let me say this. What would you say to the Africans if you could say something to them? I'm talking about all the African countries, because I've seen some YouTube snippets where, like, if you're not born African, like born here, and if you don't have the culture, you weren't brought up in the culture, you tend to get treated like, when we come back home, because this is our home. I don't give a damn what nobody says. This is our home, right? This is our land. For some reason, we get treated worse than the people who don't belong here. So if you could say something to the Africans who are listening, what would you tell them about? Just be honest, because I'm going to be honest. You know that. I'm going to tell exactly what I think, how I feel. What would you tell them when it comes to treating us with the same respect as you treat the white guy, as the Mzungu, the people who colonized you? You treat them better than you treat us. So what would you tell them?
I would like to just remind them that, that we were like the ones that were enslaved, captured and exported around the world, and that, there's nothing different. There's no difference between them and us. And I remember I used to say to people when I first came, like, I was finding out about how people were, and I was saying to them, you are more wealthy than I am. Like, you have this beauty around you, you have this nature, you have this land. Some people have land they build in their house. I'm like, yes, I have a house in the UK, but I don't own it outright. It's on a mortgage. A mortgage means like a death certificate. It means like, or whatever it is, a death loan or whatever it is. It's like till death, and if you die before you've paid it off,
goes back to it.
Yeah, so I don't feel like I'm wealthy. Yes, I've had many different opportunities, so I might have more certificates and stuff, and I have this accent, but really and truly, do I have wealth? The UK is cold as, I don't know how I was going to call it, cold as hell. That doesn't even make sense. It's cold right now. It's, it's moany, it's miserable, it's wet. I don't, hardly have the sun. You kind of, as soon as the sun comes out, the British people are complaining. Like, I don't feel like it's not my home, and sometimes I also feel upset because I'm like, I don't have a home. Like, okay, my parents are Caribbean, but even if I go to the Caribbean, I don't have the right accent. So I'm a foreigner there, Yeah. So no one is embracing me, and I'm not all boohoo. Like, I can cope with it. It's fine. You think that maybe your children or your grandchildren will, if we stay here, will have the accent and be fluent and whatnot, and be embraced like the Indians are here. They're called Tanzanians. But sometimes it's, it's hard because it's like there is nowhere to actually claim that is ours. At times.
It is. That's the way it feels sometimes, for real. And like in America, I don't know why we're always fighting for a place that don't want us there. They want y'all there. They want y'all for the money. Of course, we spend $1.3 trillion annually, a year. Who wouldn't want that money coming to them? And I just don't understand why, as an African in the diaspora, why we don't just pool our resources. And we can everybody can come over here and buy 10 acres a piece, man. And just start a group and just, look, you buy 10 acres, next week we'll buy you 10 acres, next week we'll buy you, you know what I mean? And just do what you want to do and build.
But I don't want to live in like a secluded community.
Me neither.
Just,
No.
Like Western.
No, I don't, because their mindset,
No, I want to integrate into the culture here and really learn Swahili. But I just wish that the African people would kind of unite and be like, recognize us.
Yeah.
Like
as brothers and sisters.
Yeah, as brothers
and stop
and
just
sisters.
calling us brothers and sisters. Actually treat us like a brother or sister, unless you treat your brothers like you treat us. Now that's what you do. That's a whole nother conversation.
And another conversation is how some of the women out here just screw me. And I'm like, I'm not even doing anything. I'm not stopping you from doing whatever you're doing. I don't know what it is sometimes. It's like, or is it curiosity, or is it, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, that jealousy thing is
it's weird because
I don't know what it is. I think we've been colonized and enslaved in our minds to the point where even when we look at each other, we look at each other like,
Competitors?
like them Zulu look at you. We look at them like you're the enemy. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna step on you when I can.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take advantage of you when I can. I don't trust you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm here to take. I'm not here to give. I think that's the problem. I think we look at each other in that way.
And not like to build
Right.
teamwork and
Right.
stuff.
No teamwork.
Yeah. It's strange because, you know, there are certain parts of the UK I've gone to where I feel uncomfortable because of the colour of my skin. And, you know, I guess I'm not, I hate to use these terms, but not offensive. I'm not dark skinned or whatever it is, but, you know, I can't blend in because I'm not white and I never want to be white. But, you know, you go to UK and there's places that I wouldn't feel comfortable going by myself. But then there are people who are not black who will come here and feel totally at ease going wherever. We've seen people walking around at all various times of night.
Yeah.
Completely
White people
comfortable.
can walk in the darkest places here and don't have to worry about nobody jumping out with no knife, or nobody trying to beat them up or take nothing from them. They don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you, what do y'all have some of the same issues we have with race relations in the UK? Because you know America's horrible.
No, America is hardcore. It's
Over the
like
top.
out there. But
Yeah.
the British culture is a bit different. It's much more subtle, and you might not know that somebody, your next door neighbour, hates your guts at all because they will never show it because that's not how they do. But you know, there might be ways they show it. Like, you know, what was that movie where they made like a poo pie, like a shit pie? Like, do you know?
Yeah, I'm trying. I
that
don't know.
movie. But it's kind of like that. It's like we'll pretend. They will pretend that they like you, so you'll never know that they're racist until they come out with certain phrases, and you're like, "Hang on a second, that's a bit dodgy. I thought you were safe. You're all right." But actually, you know, you're coming out with, "I'm colourblind," or "My brother's wife's son's cousin's dog is black," you know, and so I have no problem with black people. You're like looking at them like, "What?" You know, and then so it's different, but there are like instances where there's been like police brutality and stuff, and people have died in custody. It's all hush hush. There's lots of black missing people in the UK and stuff.
Wow.
There's lots of, we have this stabbing culture.
Yeah.
So black youths mainly are being stabbed. Some white, but mainly I would say 95% are black. It's black or black crime.
Same thing in America.
So, you know, it's not. It's
No
not
guns,
cool.
just
no,
knives.
we don't have guns. We have knives. It's all knives.
Wow.
Crime,
That's
some
more
gang,
personal.
gang related and so forth. They just buried a schoolgirl. She was 15, I think, and it was a big funeral. Lots of celebrities and big wigs attended and stuff because she was shielding her friend. I think it was to do with a boyfriend and some jealousy or something or another, and it was her friend they were after, and she shielded her friend and ended up getting stabbed and killed. You know, so
Wow.
that was recent, and that was pretty sad. She was from South London, which is where I'm from, South London. So you know, it's a stomping ground, crime. You know, it's hard.
What do you know about? Let me ask you this. I need to ask this question. What do you think about Israel, Palestine? I need to know. What are your thoughts on that? Because y'all know my thought on it. First of all, they don't belong over there. The Israelis, they don't belong over there in that land. We all know who the Hebrew Israelites are. I think everybody knows at this point. I think people just waiting for us to stand up and actually claim it. And because I've seen some videos where you actually got some white people that know the truth,
Yeah.
but you know, standing up against that machine and that system. Yeah.
Do I have to make a comment on this? That's not my business. That's you all just get on and do what you have to do. Like I
So-
I sympathize. I don't want anyone to die
Yeah.
in vain and stuff. But I'm just like,
So basically, what you're saying is, you think as black people, we should just stay out of it.
yeah, why do you have to get involved in someone else's stuff? Like we've got
I
enough to go
I
on.
agree with you.
We've got enough to.
I agree with you.
We've got
You hear
enough
that?
to deal with.
We need to deal with our own shit. Folks over there who champion for the Israelis and champion for the Palestinians. Listen, take that same energy and bring it over here.
Yeah.
Deal with our own issues.
Yeah.
Stop sitting on your couch and trying to take sides. And I done already had this conversation about y'all putting on jerseys. Every time we put on a jersey, we fight harder for the other team. You know what I mean by jersey, right?
Yeah. Top.
Okay. But I'm saying though, you know how
Yeah.
you put on a basketball jersey,
Yeah.
you play for that team.
Yeah.
Why is it that you think black people, whenever they put on a Christian jersey or a Democratic or Republican jersey, they fight for them? They forget about the black skin, the jersey that God blessed them with. Then we got all these other jerseys where you're a British jersey, you're playing for the Brits, and I'm an American jersey, and we go harder than, and realizes we all getting looked at as the same
We
group
are
of
the
people.
same. We're just people that are being dropped off at different places.
Thank you.
So we are the same. We're cousins. We're brothers. We're sisters.
Yes.
We are all melanated. We should just unite on that. It doesn't matter if you've got less melanation or more melanation.
And there's
You're
enough
melanated.
room over here. Listen, do the Google search and see the land mass of Africa. There's enough.
Amazing.
It's enough land over here for every person of African descent to come over here and own at least 10 acres, and you don't even have to see your neighbors.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Them facts.
Today. So I did a lesson today.
She's a teacher, by the
and,
way, in a French school.
Yeah, so I did the Francophone countries of Africa, right? I did trip myself up a bit because I thought they were 21, but then I googled again and it was like 26. So I'm like, what?
Bunch of.
Okay, so then we were talking. So we got on the topic of why there are French-speaking African countries, and then oh gosh, then the comments came. I actually have to write an email to one of the parents because he had an issue with the word Niger. So then he's a Chinese boy, he started to play on that word.
Yeah, nigga.
Imagine what he
Yeah.
said. And I was just like,
He knew what he was doing.
yeah,
He
he's
knew
old
exactly
enough.
what he was doing.
So, and then I was talking to another teacher and they were like, yeah, he's racist and he's this and he's that and he does this. And I was like,
Yeah.
so anyway, we're talking about how it happened. And then the children's perceptions of Africa are so low. So I was talking about, the fact that how it's not right to come to someone else's country or continent and decide that you want it and take it and rob and pillage and steal and
Right,
whatnot and
right.
use the resources and make yourself rich. And that, we're talking about how these things will happen, etc. Sometimes you can teach something and think it's going to go one way and then it just goes the complete opposite way. And then
Yeah, 'cause
children
you-
were saying, they were like, well, one of the arguments was, yeah, but Africa didn't have a car, so we gave them a car. Oh gosh.
So it's still materialistic with them.
Yeah, and then but they didn't have the alphabet. And I was like, oh no, we have to back up
Wow.
now. We had to go back up. I was like, we had to go back. I was like, hang on a second. There were civilizations and nations and that were doing
Empires
things
and everything
in-
else here.
in Africa way
Way
there
before.
was any other thing going on. And then I had to go back and say, Egypt, blah blah blah, the hieroglyphics, that was right. They were writing then. But,
Herodotus, the Greek, came across and learned everything they need to learn. They took a lot of knowledge back to the Greeks. For all y'all people who like to claim that we didn't have nothing to contribute, remember that.
So
They learned from us. We didn't learn from them. We
the
learned
problem-
violence from them. That's what we learned from y'all. Violence.
But the problem I've had is that, and then I just said to them, don't just take my word for it, for gospel. You do your own research if you can be bothered, and if you want to. But I don't feel that a lot of them want to because they come from a privileged background.
Arrogance.
They
Yes.
they are traveling here and there at the
Yes, sense of
weekend. They
arrogance. They don't care.
They don't need to. For as far as they're concerned, Africa is this place that benefits from the Western nations by the aid, by inventions. They can't see anything good coming from Africa, and I think that maybe the continent Africa needs to do some sort of free education, because there's a massive miseducation going on, and I can't just do it all by myself.
No.
And one lesson is not going to be enough.
No, it's not going to be enough. It needs to be actually like they do us. It needs to be indoctrinated into the African citizens here. They need to know their heritage. They need to know their history. They need to understand that Egypt is on the continent of Africa.
Yeah.
It's a country in Africa. They need to know that Ethiopia is on the continent of Africa. And they was never colonized. They need to know that. They need to know about Mansa Musa, the richest man to ever walk the planet. They don't know this shit, which I don't understand. I come from an enslaved culture of America, and I know more about African history than a lot of them know about their own country.
Yeah, but I didn't get taught that stuff.
Yeah.
I wasn't
You
taught
didn't?
that at school. No, never taught that at all. We were taught about the colonization, but from the sympathetic viewpoint,
Yeah.
where you don't actually associate yourself
Blame. Yeah, you
with
don't blame
Africa. It was
yourself.
almost like
Yeah.
it needs to happen because they were savages and we needed to rescue them.
Yeah, of course. It's
You know?
always that.
So yeah, it wasn't until I got older that there's lots of disconnects, and then I was like interested to find out the truth. Like little bits of nuggets here and there came together, and then I studied for myself, and I was just like, wow.
Yeah, I tell you this. If y'all still feel that Africa is savages, why do y'all come here? What's the purpose? What are you here for? If it's nasty, dirty, stinky, third world country, why are y'all here? That's the question I want all them Zungus to answer. I want the Indians to answer. I want the Chinese to answer. The Asians, let me say that. Cover a multitude of them. Because you got Japanese and Chinese and Korean, everybody's over here. So if Africa's such a bad place, answer me this one question. Why the hell are y'all here? Go home. Take your ass home. Take your kids with you. Go home. That's
It's
honestly how I feel.
It's interesting though how with such little marketing, certain peoples or demographics find this place.
Yes.
And so there is still a notion, like even my mum thinks that I'm over here digging the hole. Like she don't see that there is, there's a wealth.
They don't know his buildings over here.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't get it. She doesn't understand.
Yeah.
And I guess I didn't know what I was going to find when I came to Tanzania at all. I didn't know that Zanzibar existed. But when I did get to Zanzibar, there's a whole load of Russians that have been enjoying it way before me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
There's
mean?
a bunch of them. Like I was telling. You remember the story I told you when I first came to Africa, which was about 3 years ago, about 3, maybe 4 years ago, during the pandemic. When I first got on the plane, I'm thinking I'm going to Africa. I'm thinking the plane should be about 50-50. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe 40-60, somewhere like that. When I got on the plane, it was me and another black guy. 98% of the plane was white. Now, of course, we stopped in Amsterdam, Holland, and we had a change, right? Connecting flight. So I'm thinking, surely we're gonna pick up some Negroes from Harlem, and they going to Africa. We just picked up more white. Now I'm the only black on the plane.
That's weird.
Think about that. The only Negro going back. And then here's the thing I need to ask black people. Y'all spend all this money hopping from state to state. I'm speaking on the United States. Y'all spend $400, $500, $600, sometimes $800, $1,200 just to go to Florida. That's if you're driving, you get a hotel, you enjoy Disney World. Y'all spending all that money to go somewhere you can go next year, and it ain't gonna change your life. When you can take another $1,000 to add on with that $1,200, $1,300 you done spent in Florida, which ain't nowhere. You can drive to Florida. When you can come over here and have a trip of a lifetime.
Do you think that being in Africa has changed your life?
Yes, I do. I think it's changed my life dramatically. I think I look at life completely, and I'm willing. I think it makes me. I'm way more humble than I used to be. I always consider myself humble. I think I'm a little bit more humble than I used to be. I do get saddened sometimes when I see the things that we have to go through over here. You know what I mean? Like when we was walking on the beach and we saw, the kids, some kids ain't really, they have to hustle.
Yeah.
It's hand to mouth over here.
Yeah.
Like I've been saying in all the videos, if you don't have nothing going on, it's hard to find food. It's still that. And yeah, it bothers me that people really just want to think about this, Africa. Everybody over here buys cars, right? I see people driving nice cars over here, Mercedes. I see Land Rovers over here. I see all these places. Ask yourself this. Why don't they ever bring a car manufacturing plant to Africa? Ask yourself that. And employ the locals. Because you can be trained. It don't take a rocket scientist to build no car if you got training. You training and do a specific task. Just like I used to work at Kia. I never had no experience building a car. They trained me in a week, 2 weeks, do this one task. That's it. Ask yourself that, Africa. Ask yourself why Apple skipped over Africa to take their company to China. If America truly, and these people really truly want to help Africa. Ask yourself that. Ask yourself why ain't no manufacturing companies over here, big manufacturing companies. And over here, especially when it comes to iPhone, how do they feel about iPhones over here?
Oh my goodness, they love iPhones. I was on the beach with I have a Realme. Before that, my phone that I had was an Oppo. I think it was an Oppo phone that was stolen. But the guy I was in like a resort, I think. And the man comes up to me and he's like, "Oh, you've got my dream phone." And I looked at him, I was like, "What dream phone are you talking about?" He said, "iPhone 13. And I was like, "I don't have an iPhone 13. And I was showing him, I was like, "This is called a Realme." And I don't know, it must have felt stupid because I thought, you don't know what your your dream phone looks like. It don't look like this. Certainly isn't that. I mean, I don't even own an iPhone. I've never owned one. I don't have any aspirations to buy an iPhone.
Thank you. That's the part I was. Africans, please. Why would you take $1,200-$1,300 to buy a phone when you don't have nothing to eat? Just please answer that question for me. You know what I'm saying? You can take, I'm sure, with $1,200-$1,300, you can take that and actually buy you a business or start a business.
Yeah.
What about that? Because I'm American. I never wanted an iPhone. I'm not going to pay no $1,300-$1,400 for a phone. For what? To text? To call? To surf the internet? There are way cheaper phones
That do the same thing.
that do the same thing.
Yeah. And that's how I feel about most things.
Right.
That's how I feel about cars.
Everything. But ask yourself this, since we're talking about iPhones, since Africa tend to love Africans, the iPhone so much, ask your local government why haven't Apple put a company here to actually build an iPhone. You know why they don't bring nothing, no industry to Africa? You know why? Because they want to keep y'all poor and needy.
Yeah, because it would benefit.
Right, it would benefit the people around because everybody will have a job.
Yeah.
That's
Then they
why.
wouldn't be
Y'all
able
ain't
to-
figured that out, but they want y'all to always want it and to spend your last little bit of money to chase after it. Now you poor again. Now you're sleeping on the street, but you got an iPhone. Now you're hungry, but you got your iPhone. Now your shoes busted up, but you got your iPhone. Like I said, man, I think, like I said on another video, vanity with us, and I'm starting to think it's wired in our DNA. Most of us, vanity. Like we want to look good.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that out here.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
A
like,
lot.
A lot. I noticed from sort of this, like going swimming, you'd think he's just going swimming. No, it's a whole like show. Going swimming is like, it's like, I can't swim, but I'm going swimming so I can just jump and take a picture. And I'm like looking at these people like, what are you doing? Just get out of the pool so the rest of us can swim. There's lots of that.
Yeah, that TikTok, man, the videos, just yeah, the faking, man, just
it's funny.
yeah. My people perish for lack of knowledge because they reject knowledge, and vanity, and I'm gonna say it again, is ruining us. We would rather look good than actually be good or do good.
Yeah.
As long as I look like I'm doing good, but you're not.
It's even weird. So I've been doing like this project with the 6-year-olds at school, and it's sad. So I was getting them to do their self-portraits, and it started off okay.
Let's
So I would
walk
go
with it.
around and I'd be like, okay, let's draw yourself. Don't forget your skin color. And so it started off like people would be, the children would draw themselves and the colour that they perceive themselves to be, and it started off correct.
Mm-hmm.
But over like the course of the couple of weeks,
Yeah, we're gonna walk
started
out a
to
little
change.
bit. Go ahead, I'm listening. Go
It
ahead.
started to change. So
Uh-huh.
then you'd have the black girls who are beautiful with their lovely plaits, braids, whatever you call them, with the correct colouring.
Mm-hmm.
It soon changed to blonde, and the skin just changed to white. And I'm
Wow.
like, hang on a second, we're in Africa, majority African, country. Why are you drawing yourself white with blonde hair and straight hair, like as well? And I just thought that was really weird. Not everybody, but I would say the darker children were prone to that,
Yeah.
rather than like the
Colorism.
ones that, and it was really strange.
Self-hate.
Really strange.
Yeah, it's over here. So
Yeah, it's here too, and I wasn't expecting that, because when my children went to school in Goba, and it was a black school, my children were looked at as anomalies, and so they should have been. Everyone wanted to touch their hair and marvel at them or whatever, and then they became just more normalized, and then my children wanted to fit in with them and would have their hairstyles. So that's how it should be.
yeah.
Because there are so many amazing places here where you can get your hair done and you can look colourful and wild or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I found that to be quite sad. So today we did our final portrait, and I was getting them to do collaging with like different coloured paper and cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was disappointed. Yeah, I was disappointed.
Why?
Why was I disappointed? Because that doll study that the psychologist did, the children in the West, we had a couple of studies done in the UK, and I think I remember watching the original one in the US.
Oh, you mean the
with
blue-eyed,
dolls-
brown-eyed?
Dolls. And
Oh,
how,
the
and then when they
dolls.
they
Okay,
had
the black girls and the white.
Yeah,
black girls
with
and
the
white
dolls,
girls. Yeah.
and then how they perceived them, and how what they said about them, or would you like to have a friend that looks like this doll? And then they were like, no, the black doll is ugly or whatnot. And yeah, I thought that was really sad. I know that there are people who are trying to normalise having black dolls over here, because it doesn't seem to be that common, funny enough. If you go to shop, you can buy white dolls. If you want to buy a rag doll, most of them would be black. thankfully. But in the shop, you're going to find white dolls. So, yeah, that reminds me of a friend of mine who said, "Why do you only have black dolls in the house?" And I was like, "Why shouldn't I have black dolls?" She was like, "But aren't you denying their other side, their children's?" And I was like, "No, because we're surrounded by the
Yeah.
other side."
Yeah.
You know?
They're always. Let me ask y'all this. Let me ask white people this. Why is it that whenever we decide we want to represent our own kind in a product, in an area, y'all got a problem with that? Now all of a sudden, y'all recognize racism, but it's not y'all racism. Y'all want to recognize the race. Y'all want to call us and say we being racist towards y'all. How does that work? Just please answer that question. Just because I don't understand it. Help me overstand. Because I'm tired of standing under y'all. Help me overstand. What is it? What is it about black folk that y'all really don't like? We never did shit to y'all. So help me overstand that.
I don't know. It's sad.
Yeah.
It is sad.
And black folks, when y'all gonna realize, man, we all we got. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes,
Should
I
be.
am.
Should be.
Am I my sister's keeper? Yes, I am. So when y'all gonna start being proactive at playing for this jersey right here? Look at that. Look at that. I'm in the sun. Look at it. Look, hold on. Let's turn around. Look. This is
Beautiful
Africa.
sun.
Yes.
Beautiful sun.
This is Africa, man. Look. Anyway, man, I don't know what else to say on this video.
No, I think we've said quite a lot already.
Yeah, you have.
It's kind of gone off topic or
Yeah,
touched on
yeah,
other things, which is
yeah.
fine.
Yeah, we'll do some more. Anyway, it was the first one. Yeah, we'll do some more. I'm out.